Good evening, guys. How's it going? So today I'm back at it with another video. I'm sure you can tell by the title of this video that this is another continuation of some videos that I made in the past, and now I'm here and just following up on them. But before we get started, guys, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel and leave a like and let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below after the video. Like I said, it really helps out me and the channel a lot. But without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into it. Okay guys, so this video was actually a subscriber request. I had somebody reach out to me and tell me about their specific situation, and they asked me if I could follow up on this particular piece of content and basically give a perspective on what men do or how they feel when they are the person that dumps you, they're the dumper, or they're the person that breaks up with you, but after a certain period of time. Could be months, could be a year, however long, but that is something that I was thinking about recently, and I'm really glad that this person reached out to me and asked me to make some content about this, because as I said, it was something that I was thinking about recently, and there are definitely some things that go on in a man's mind after a certain period of time. After a breakup in general, but especially when they're the ones that dump you. Now, remember guys, this is from my perspective. Every guy is different, so I will definitely speak on my experiences and then also the experiences of other men that I've known. So first of all, I'm going to show you guys specifically what the subscriber sent me as far as their personal story. So make sure you volume up and pay attention to the screen, because here it is.
I've been so anxious and I needed constant reassurance from him. And it got to the point where he was extremely stressed out, depressed, and sad about it. So he thought breaking up would be the best thing for our mental health. It was partly because my mom talked about the future too soon and he got scared about it. And I haven't told my dad, and chances of my dad accepting a white boyfriend seemed low. But other than that, I also kept doubting his love for me. My ex was bad at communicating, which led me to believe such a thing. I was also equally bad at communication. But other than that, he was so much more affectionate in real life. And he improved his texting habits, yet my anxiety still consumed me. So, one day, me and my ex planned to go over to his place. He picked me up, gave me a kiss, and then drove. It was silent, so I asked him if he is okay. He replied, "We do need to talk." I then was confused, but I had a feeling it was going to be what I think. Bursting out my tears, he comforted me, kissed me. I asked him to just say it and get it over and done with. So I asked, "You wanted to break up, don't you?" He said, "Well, I didn't want to, but the anxiety and reassurance has gone to the point where it's been affecting our mental health." He said he was sad and depressed because of that. He also said the past 6 months has been a wonderful time, and stuff like that. After I asked him out of curiosity, he said he still loves me, and stated the reasons for the breakup. He then said dropping me home would be too painful. I was crying my eyes out. I gave him the necklace and bracelet he gave me for my birthday. He looked like he was about to cry, but didn't cry. But I cried. He still offered to drop me home, but so did his mom. His mom dropped me off. When his mom and I were talking, she told me that how my ex was telling me that the constant reassurance and the anxiety has been making him sad and depressed. I had no idea about it. She told him, "Are you sure depressed is the right word?" Maybe you should go talk to her. However, she told me she didn't think we were going to break up. She just thought he was going to talk to me about it. And no, I don't think his mom was the cause of the breakup. He messaged me a week later because, during the breakup, he said he's happy, to friends. However, I said I need a week, and then 3 days, and then a week again. Therefore, when his mom dropped me off, I told her to tell him to text me in a week if he can. It was just so I don't make confusion. He messaged me in a week to check how I was doing. Out of nervousness, I asked him, "We are still friends, right?" He said yes, of course. We agreed on being friends. But now I kinda regret because I cannot be friends with him. I'm still regretting. Regardless, it's now been 4 months since the breakup, and I'm on no contact, trying my hardest to focus on myself and work in self-improvement. I'm too afraid to be the one to reach out, so I uninstalled my Messenger. One day my brother decided to install Messenger to find his iPad because he has this app called Messenger for Kids. I lost my shit at my brother for it. When checking my Messenger, it kinda bothered me that he still hasn't reached out. I decided to uninstall my Messenger again, and I'm too afraid to install it again. However, it does hurt me to realize he still hasn't reached out. So I do wonder, why do dumpers go silent? It seems like they don't care.
Okay, guys, so you just saw and you just listened to the subscriber's story. What I said in the previous videos, the previous 2 videos that I made, definitely holds true. My opinion on that has not changed. In my experience, especially when the guy is the one that breaks up with you, most of the time, or I should say a fair amount of time, a lot of it, the man just has a certain sense of relief. He has a certain sense of peace with his decision and what he did. He may or may not have done it really for the right reasons, as you may think. And I will say, ladies, with the particular story and the example that we listened to just a little bit ago, seemed to have quite obviously been dealing with a man who probably wasn't the most emotionally mature, but definitely had a certain level of emotional maturity. And this is the thing, ladies, not all men are emotionally mature. Trust me, they're definitely not. But there are a good number of them that are. And those are probably some of the men that you ladies are dealing with. Because in my opinion, a emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature and an emotionally strong man will often ultimately break up with a woman who is not bringing peace to his life and has become more of a liability than anything else. It's not to say that you're a bad person. It's not to say that you didn't love him, and it's not to say that he didn't realize all of those things. But you have to remember, at the end of the day, ladies, men, more than anything, in a relationship, want to feel loved, they want to feel respected, and they ultimately want to have peace at the end of the day. Because you have to remember, and I know that a lot of you will probably sit there and you'll argue with me on this, and I'm sure that there are a lot of other people out there that'll argue with me on this till the cows come home, but the simple fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, men in general are seen as being responsible. They're seen as having all the expectations put on them, whether it's at work, in society, in a relationship, and it's a lot of stress, and it's just a lot of crap that you have to deal with, and it's all just weighing down on your shoulders. And the last thing that a man wants to do is come home to a woman who's just nagging him, getting crazy with him, and is just taking away what little peace he probably has, if any at all. And it's not to say that at some times, at certain points, and in some cases, that you ladies don't have good reason to do that. Trust me, I'm not saying that men are not at fault for anything and that you can't do those types of things at all. Sometimes it's warranted. In fact, there's probably a good number of times that it is. But you ladies know, you're not dumb, okay? You know when it's warranted and when it's not warranted. You can sit there and you can think in your mind logically, and you know for the most part. And I also will say this, by far, women break up with men more than men break up with women. So if he broke up with you, that shows a certain level of, like I said, emotional intelligence, a certain amount of, I know as a man, him saying to himself, I know what is best for me as a man. I know that this is not good for me. It's also probably not good for her, for us to be in this situation. And as a man, I am willing to do the hard thing and walk away from this. I can say from experience, ladies, I have done this, just that. I have done that more than a couple of times in my dating career, in my dating life. And it is not easy. It is, trust me, I want to just make this abundantly clear right now. If your man broke up with you, it was not easy for him to do that. As I already said in the last 2 videos, and I will reiterate it to you again, it is not easy. He, chances are, probably thought it through, and it took a lot of pain, a lot of courage to do what he did. And like I said, by far, men will stick with women much more than a woman will stick around with a man. You look at the breakup rates, you look at the divorce rates, it is almost all the time women are breaking up and divorcing men. So as I said, if he is breaking up with you, if he is divorcing you, it shows a certain amount of emotional intelligence on his part. And he had the courage to do what he did. I've been through this definitely more than once in the past. I didn't feel good about it. I felt horrible, to be quite honest, in many ways. Not just for the girl, but also internally. I felt like I lost somebody that I truly and very deeply cared about, and it left certain emotional scars that will always be there. But as a man, you learn from it, you grow from it, and ultimately, I do feel a certain sense of peace after all of it. It takes a certain amount of time, but you see how life picks up and life just moves on. It really does, whether you want to or not. It picks up and it moves on. And that's very likely what your man probably did. It picked up and it moved on. It's not necessarily that things are the same, because they're not the same. But nonetheless, he picked up and he moved on. He probably realized that the number one person he had to fall back on was himself, plus his family, plus his friends. While he probably looks back at all of it and probably thinks that it was hurtful and it was tragic, and he still probably has a certain remnant of pain that sits inside his heart, for the most part, he's probably okay and looks back at the decision that he made as being the right one and the correct one, despite how much he loved you, despite how much he cared and felt about you. He did what needed to be done. Now here's a quick way to tell that is not at peace with his decision. If he constantly reaches out to you, if he reaches out to you maybe every now and then, there's a chance he may not totally be at peace with it. But unless he's constantly reaching out to you and maybe wanting to hang out, wanting to go on a date, wanting to kind of mend things with you, then chances are he's probably okay with it. And to my subscriber, the very fact that he has not reached out much over the last 3 months says that he is probably okay and he's at peace with his decision. And let me make something clear, ladies, because as my subscriber said, it seems like he doesn't care. It is not that he doesn't care, ladies. Just because he's not out there blowing your phone up, saying all these things, or just trying to see you all the time does not mean that he does not care. A man can care. Let me tell you something. A man that is, first of all, I'm going to say this, okay? More than likely, he is at peace, he is okay with the decision that he made to break up with you because he broke up with you. Men often don't break up with women. It is like 70-80% of the time it is the other way around. So the very fact that he did that says that he probably thought it out. He's probably very emotionally intelligent, and he just decided this is not what's best for either of us at this point anymore. And while he does still care, ladies, he put what was good for him, probably yourself as well, he put the greater good, basically, ahead of the situation. And that right there, in many ways, is the sign of an emotionally intelligent and just overall a man that has his shit together. So like I said, ladies, don't misconstrue it. It's not that he doesn't care. He does care. He has just made peace with it. That's all it is. You know, and let me tell you something. A man can care about you. He can love you deeply and he can care about you deeply. But if he is emotionally intelligent, and at the end of the day, if he is an overall really good and very honorable man, if he knows that it was not the right thing, he can keep as much distance from you for the rest of his life and still, on some level, maybe even a great level, care. And ultimately, at the end of the day, as long as he wishes you the best and he wishes you all the happiness in the world, that's enough for him. And that's all that really can be expected of him at that point. So like I said, ladies, do not sit there and think that he doesn't care. Because he does. Not all men are like this, okay? There are plenty that aren't, but there are a good number of men who are honorable, and that's how they operate. Don't let the distance and don't let the silence fool you. When he goes to bed at night, he is wishing you all the best and he is wishing you all the happiness in the world. And that right there is the sign of a good man, and a man who honors and respects the relationship that the two of you had. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, as a man, especially as a good man, that's what you want for the woman and all the women that you've ever loved. You want them to be happy at the end of the day. And that's likely what this man has done. And it's not to say that you guys couldn't work something out and you guys probably couldn't do something again in the future, but it might be on you to try to spark that. But I'll ask you ladies this, which is, have you worked on yourself? Have you become more emotionally intelligent? He probably is, or he probably has. He's probably grown. Have you? If you haven't, then work on it. If you have, then hey, reach out to him. There's nothing wrong with you reaching out to him and seeing if you could have another go. If he's about it, he'll let you know. If he's not, then pick up and move on. It's as simple as that. Well, ladies, I know I just gave you a mouthful of everything, but that is, in short, or in long form, how it often is when a man is the dumper. He broke up with you. How he feels, probably what he's thinking, what probably went on, and what he still feels and what he probably still thinks after a certain amount of time, after a certain amount of distance, whether it be months or a year or maybe even years. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Let me know what you ladies think. You see in the comment sections, I engage with all of you, so I will be more than happy to comment back and engage with all of you. Thanks again for watching, guys. See you soon.